Cecile Landi and Levi Jung-Ruivivar. Those are our featured guests at the GymCastic live show happening this Sunday, December 14th. It's a virtual, so you can attend from anywhere. But remember, GymCastic live shows are never made public because the chalk bowl is full of secrets. So we will see you with Cecile Landi, Olympian and Olympic champion coach, and Levi Jung-Ruivivar, Olympian for the Philippines and Stanford star, at 3 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. Get your tickets at gymcastic.com.
Today, yellow cards for everyone, you guys. We have the new mixed team American Cup format. We're going to talk about that and our dream teams. We have the Gym Nerd School College Gymnastics Rule Changes 2026, so you know exactly how people are going to make it to or not make it to NCAA championships, and all the ways that coaches can get yellow cards. Also, which of your favorite elites are coming to NCAA this season in 2026? We have two mini commissions, one on our dream college gymnastics team from the last 3 years, and we have an Alabama-Georgia drama mini commission as well. Today is December 8th, 2025, and welcome to GymCastic, the #1 gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica, and I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. Let us begin with, please roll the clip. This is from Simone Biles on TikTok. Simone gave us the perfect example of why everyone needs to start with gymnastics in their life.
Yeah.
And because Simone is learning many new sports, she's doing horseback riding. She has now added the figure skating to her repertoire and is doing lessons. And she fell down and was doing a very sexy stomp and then tried to spin around and fell on her side. But what did she not do? Put her hands behind her. She did not break an elbow or a wrist because she knows how to fall. And this is why everyone should start sports. Do whatever you want. But the first sport you should start with is gymnastics, so you learn how to fall without hurting yourself. That's the most important thing. And also, I love that she's doing this because people feel like you can't do a sport unless you're good at it. And a lot of people feel like they can't go back to adult gymnastics unless they're like, well, I have to go in and then I have to explain how I used to be good. You don't have to explain shit. Enjoy yourself. It's your life. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner. If you're a beginner and you're an adult, it's okay. Spencer, do you want to go to adult gymnastics?
No.
Okay.
But you've made a very good case for it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I can't argue your case. It's just obviously that's not going to happen.
Okay. I thought it wouldn't. But, okay. In case you missed it, because we haven't had a regular episode in 2 weeks, but we have talked about all these things on Behind the Scenes. So Behind the Scenes is something Club Gym Nerd members get every Friday at noon Pacific or 8 GMT, where we talk about all the latest stuff and you can ask us questions live. So if you missed it, here's a couple things we talked about on Behind the Scenes. Okay, so we know about what happened with the Romanian Federation and Romanian athletes submitting complaints. 5 gymnasts now have submitted formal complaints against the Romanian Federation and against coaches, how things are run. And then we have the video evidence of Voinia and her verbally abusing and looking like her daughter's afraid that she's going to be hit by her mom. And that was all submitted previously to the Romanian Gymnastics Federation, but then it became public when Galazzo published it. So that's the background of this. Now, the Federation has retaliated against the entire team and coaches by sending them all to satellite gyms. So this means that according to the sources that I talked to and contacted personally in Romania, this means coaches are going without pay. This means that some of the athletes are going to gyms they've never trained at with coaches they've never trained at before. They've lost their stipends and their housing. The only gym that I think, and the time that I talked to my sources in Romania, the only gym that was the coaches were getting paid was Voinia because the club was continuing to pay them. So everyone has been retaliated against. And my thing is the FIG just hired a brand new ethics foundation head, and the ethics foundation is in charge of enforcing the rules and enforcing safeguarding. So my question for you is, can the FIG continue to have an ethics foundation that's worth anything? And I know this guy just got hired in November, but if they don't do something about the Romanian Federation, how can they still be certified to be the official federation of Romania with all of this going on? They retaliated against everyone.
I mean, if it's a legitimate question, how can they be? The answer is because the FIG can do whatever it wants. Like there's no real oversight other than like intense pressure from people that they feel are more powerful than them, or the fear of embarrassment. Like those are the fear of public embarrassment. Those are the only things that really historically force the FIG to do anything. So the answer is yes, they can do whatever they want. But certainly if you read the statutes, you can take it as a checklist of all of the things that, if a gymnast or coach or federation violates these things, then they will face consequences from the FIG. It's very broad, but if you go through and read that list, you can be like, check mark, yep, that one, yep, that one, yep. There are so many check marks you would put on that you can make a very convincing argument for.
It sets a very scary precedent for what is acceptable and what you can get away with if they allow the Romanian Federation to do this without any pressure. And I hope the IOC will step in on this, because the new IOC president has been shown to take no shit. So I hope that she perhaps has something to say about it. And you might say, well, what about...
Because then you're like, right. That's always the consideration of suspending a federation. Then you're like, well, are you punishing the very athletes you're trying to protect by saying, now you can't compete? So it is very complicated, but
right. I mean, at least she could make a phone call and be like, listen, Watanabe, you either punish the federation and make them reinstate everyone with back pay, or XYZ. I'm going to do something to the FIG. That's what I would do. But some people might say, well, what about USA Gymnastics? Like, should they have been decertified, not allowed to be the official, organization that works with the FIG in the Olympics? Yeah, probably. But also, FIG, USA Gymnastics fired everyone. I mean, eventually everyone was fired, or they left to spend more time with their families. So that is the positive. Also, did you see that Uncle Tim, gymnastics-history.com, is on a tear with the birth certificates in Romania? So he broke down the difference. Like, he published a bunch of articles about all the age falsification, and then was like, let's summarize this with what happened to the Eastern Europeans and then what's happened to the Asian countries, which are the only ones that have ever been punished. So because of his research, now we have one definitive, nice, tidy list of all the world and Olympic medalists, some Olympic champions who competed either underage or had false birthdays from Romania. So Lavinia Agash, she was the one that was sent to compete under someone else's name. Mihaela Stanulet, who I think is like an 83 world champion. Katerina Szabo, 84 Olympics. Gina Gogin, of course. Daniela Silovash, we've known about. Alexander Marinescu. So, big list of them, and it goes on. We have a Mélanie update.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah. So, there was a interview.
And is the update that she has been named the Queen of Martinique and is living in a palace? Because that is the only update I will accept.
She should be the carnival queen. When she should be leading the entire thing. Or does the queen go behind the procession? Yeah, I think so.
Whatever's the more honor, whatever's the better position of honor is what she should have. Yeah.
So there's an interview, a radio interview in France, and some of the quotes were sort of taken out of context from that interview by the general public. Can you read this quote from the article?
Yeah, the quote is, "I can't even afford to get an apartment for myself because gymnastics doesn't allow you to make a living," she says. "I have an employment contract with my club, that's all. I was forced to resume gymnastics 100% because I don't know how to do anything else. I don't know the world of work. I have never worked. I never felt like a normal person." Something that most/all gymnasts or people will identify with.
Yes. Yeah, working is the worst also.
Or anyone who graduates college with a liberal arts education and is like, wait, do I have any skills?
What? Do you need me to write up?
Yes, I identify, Mélanie. I understand. I feel you in this moment.
Critical thinking, very important. So I reached out to Mélanie because I was like, what's up? It sounds like you are, destitute. Can we help? Is there anything we can do? And she said, listen, people are taking this out of context. I'm fine. I don't need financial help. I'm just people are kind of taking this out of context. Like, she was just talking about her feelings and how annoyed she is with this, which is, I mean, I think, and also there's like so many, I mean, their Olympics was a horrible experience for reasons well beyond anything that had to do with performance. But I think there's so many athletes who feel abandoned after, their career ends. So we are wishing her the best. And if anybody needs a spokeswoman for anything, what wouldn't you buy from Mélanie? Like if Mélanie was selling something.
Yeah, I know.
Clothes.
But like yogurt. Also, if you're an MLM, stay away from Mélanie.
Yeah, no MLMs. My God. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, so if you feel like you want some direction, Mélanie, like call up Cecile and figure out how you can be a freshman on the Georgia team if that's maybe what you're interested in. Just a suggestion: live your life, do what you want, but just throwing it out there.
You'll make so much money there, so you'll be able to buy an apartment in France, and also you won't have to barely do any gymnastics. Are you kidding me? When you go there, you can go work out for like an hour and then do internships the entire time and find out what you want to do for work. And I think they have fashion or design or something there too. Interior design they had, remember? Because Coupette was an interior design major for a while. So, Mélanie, Georgia, we're just saying. And it's closer to home.
Because if there's nothing that this show likes more, because we've proven telling you what to do with your life is the main goal of the show.
That's right. That is correct. So, world all-around champion again, Angelina Melnikova of Russia Independent, doesn't represent Russia, was competing in Bundesliga for Chemnitz, which was former East German team, but now she is out, didn't compete in the finals due to pressure, and they had threats against her. So she's not competing in the finals, but they did say, she put out a statement that said, everyone was so nice to me, all the Germans were so nice, all the athletes were so nice, like really this just has to do with people that are threatening. Of course, her participation was controversial due to her alleged support of Russia's war in Ukraine. We have an American Cup format.
Yes. News continues to trickle out about the American Cup, and I want to talk about it for 94 hours. So, the American Cup, long a competition in the United States, early in the year, formerly at times known as the Scamerican Cup, because it was said to have been, slightly favorable to the U.S. athletes in some way. Later in FIG World Cup, and then eliminated entirely as a competition because, money and sponsors and whatnot, and it was not feasible. It's coming back in 2026 as a mixed team competition, which is they're all the rage now because there's going to be mixed team gymnastics at the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. So now we know the American Cup is coming back as a mixed team competition in Las Vegas on March 7th, 2026. We now know that it's going to have a knockout format, which we do enjoy. Round 1 will start with 8 teams. Then it goes to round 2 with 6 teams advance to round 2, and then 4 teams advance to the final round. And we know some of the changes they're going to do versus the mixed event that was at the European Championships this past year, which was kind of our first look at it. Some changes. We know that there'll be 2 women and 2 men per team compete in each round instead of pairs the way it was at Euros. My verdict is yes to that, because that's a pair is not really enough to be a team competition. Mm-hmm. And if you have at least 2 men and 2 women on each event per round, you're like, oh, this is actually a team. So I'm in favor of this. They also changed the events that women will do versus Euros. So at American Cup mixed, women can do bars beam floor instead of vault beam floor. So my verdict is a mixed, because on the one hand, yes, I like adding bars, so that it's not all leg events like it was before, and bars is more interesting. So put it in, but also still it always feels like a sideshow if you're not even having all the events available. It kind of feels dumb.
So you could basically have, so how many people can you have on a team? You can have...
I don't think we know the maximum. We know that 2 women and 2 men per team will compete in each round, but we don't know if necessarily that a country would be limited to 2 men and 2 women.
Yeah. Because
so we still need more information on that front.
Because this could be a specialist bonanza.
Could be. If you can just bring 10 people. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you pick the best for each. Oh, I love that idea. And I love a bracket. Brackets are so easy to understand. I think it should be
this many move on. Real knockout bracket, though. Head to head. rather than just
All
like
right,
we have
instead
8
of-
teams and then we have 6. I want it to be like, okay, round 1, France against Spain. Who's going to advance to the next round of the bracket?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I would love that the most, but I'll accept this as a second place option. What I really mostly want to talk about, though, is because there's so much potential here, but given the correct athletes, so we need to like make everyone's decision for them and talk about our dream international teams. Like what countries should come, because there are going to be 8 countries, and who should be on those teams. Do you want to start or should I start? Because I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay, you start.
Thank you.
Besides-
Did I prime you with the correct answer? Should you start or should I start? Because I want to start. And you answered correctly. You should start. Thank you.
Besides Shiley Jones and Chuso, Shiley Jones, Bar's comeback. This is her debut.
Yeah, I mean, yes. That is the perfect comeback.
Or
meet for
Beam,
Shiley.
whatever. Yes.
All of them. I think she can
Yeah.
be ready by March for all of them. So do it. But I would say, okay, Team Italy obviously needs to be there. That is essential. I need to see Team
Bartolini.
Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Bartolini. Okay, I'm going to say both D'Amatos because twins, and that would be fun to have them. If you can only have 2 women and 2 men on a team, I will obviously accept Manila as well, or Giulia Perotti. I would not say no, but I would like, the D'Amatos competing and like, hey, we're actually both healthy at the same time instead of like the usual thing, which is like one of them's doing amazingly, but also crying because her twin sister got injured in the same competition, which is the usual D'Amato story. So I would love like, hey, we're both happy and competing together on the same team. That would be great. Men, yes, Bartolini and Carlo Macchini, who I want for high bar on the Italian team and for facial expressions when he gets his scores, because those are his 2 best apparatuses, and that is very important.
He's the most expressive. Bartolini, I would like him to wear his new bathing suit line that I don't know if it's a company he's sponsored by. We can't tell if we think they're bathing suits.
They're definitely bathing suits. On behind the scenes, Jessica thought it was underwear, and I was like,
well, I thought for men it looked like
you've been around
underwear.
Too many straight men. Those swim trunks were so long. I was like,
but they're
kind of
long for
mad
Italians.
at Italy.
I know.
I know, because Italy, you're supposed to wear, properly fitting swimwear.
I think what it is you can have the face of your pet printed all over your swimsuit.
Whoa.
And so it's adorable. And so, but either way, we would always like him on a team. Okay, for Canada, obviously Ellie Black. I've already asked her if she's invited.
Yeah, she should be invited. I mean, ideally, I would say Ellie Black, Gabrielle Black, because they're both named Black, and that is the most important thing. Leah Monica can come also. I'm fine with it.
Yes.
But like the 2 Blacks would be great. But don't take that out of context, because that sounds racist if you say it out of context. But I just mean 2 people whose last name is Black. Felix Dolce and William Emard obviously would be the men for Canada's team. That's a perfect team. I'm on board. Okay, Brazil obviously needs to be there. Jaji and Jaji's baby.
Yes, with matching leotards.
The baby's ready, as far as I'm concerned. That baby can do 3 to 4 events in a team competition by March. Absolutely.
Sylvia P made matching leotards for us for MPK, Marta and Malaysia, and Jagna, and they're so adorable. And so, Sylvia P, this is another opportunity for you.
Yeah. I think that's 100% needs to happen. And then like Flavia and Rebecca can come if they want to. But like Jaji's baby is the star of the team. And then Arthur Nori and Kaio Souza to round out that team, I think would be excellent. I'm on board with all of that. I think that's the showcase team.
Yeah.
The America Cup. That needs to happen. Japan needs to come, obviously. We need to see Japan there. Shoko Miyata and a cigarette are the 2 main. Like Shoko Miyata should come with a cigarette and just like 40 and just be like, you know what? Bitches, I'm great, and you can all shove it. This is the team. I think that's the best Japan team. And then like Daiki, I guess, if you wanted like one of the best gymnasts of all time to be there or something, fine. But mostly Miyata and a cigarette.
So you want him to come out of retirement? No, you want Hashimoto Daiki.
Yeah, that's why I said Daiki and not Kohei or whoever you're putting out of retirement. I mentioned the active men's gymnast, Hashimoto Daiki.
Kenzo, not Kenzo.
Because you were thinking about Kenzo so hard, you just assumed I said Kenzo.
Kenzo, that's all I can think about. And then, because Kenzo's gymnastics is so perfect that he definitely can compete at least the floor routine at any time. And then also,
you should do both men's and women's floor in the competition.
Yes, he should. It is mixed, so they should mix it up. That should be bonus points. Also, if you forgot, Miata's the one that got kicked off the team for smoking a cigarette in Paris, before the Paris Olympics, which we know was not a real reason because the men all smoked back in the day. Maybe they still do. Who knows? But Kohei just did a clinic in Australia, and I was like, dude, he could totally compete right now. Oh my God, look at his gymnastics. The British.
Aiko Sugihara, but I'm Sugihara with like a bespoke mixed team Leo that she designed.
Yes.
And also, if like people's names are the most important reason to pick them, I do want Minami and Minamino
together.
Who will then be a senior for Japan next year, so that's eligible. I need that on a team. That's also.
She was just at Junior Worlds, and we're obsessed with her, and she has a skill named after her, which we're going to talk about. Sugihara, it is Vegas, so I mean, she could do. She's already done the Jean unitard, so perhaps the jorts. She could do like a showgirl inspired, but not showgirly. As in,
because that would be tacky, and we're not going that direction.
Right. But. For GB, we already have the perfect team.
You mean the Jake Jarman and Ruby Evans reunion?
Yes.
I was about to accidentally say Ruby Harold, and then I was like, yes, Ruby Harold, come out of retirement
Ruby Harold
and do it. I'm in.
Come back.
I'm on. Yeah. I'm in. Come back. But yeah, I mean, they were the stars of the European competition, so we need them back. And just, you want Jake Jarman, obviously, at every competition, always, both for gymnastics and personality.
Yeah. The facial expressions and him being like, Ruby, oh, you need your makeups? Okay, let me fan you. What else they were just adorable and hilarious together. Spain, I will protest if Batisco is not invited and doesn't participate.
And your favorite, Raiderly Zapata, should also
We need a front double layout full. Yes. And the weirdest
Spain is also like the new Spanish men. Like I want, not Joel Plata is not new. I want him there, obviously. But there are a couple new ones who are really bringing it in the men's floor performance department.
Yeah.
So I would like some, like, Spain's got it. Like they get it. Italy gets it. So I would like some of that.
Yeah.
And I would like Zhang Bohong. If Daiki is going to be there, then Zhang Bohong needs to be there for China. So that they can like have silly facial expressions at each other while also being rivals. I would appreciate that. Because that's mainly what I enjoy.
The best way to do this, obviously, would be to make this an actual international world peace meet. And you mix and match the countries. So like China and Japan have to compete together as a team.
And then you have to have an entire document of the teams that aren't allowed to compete with each other because there might be an incident.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that might cause an incident, but it would be nice. Who do you want on the U.S. team?
Oh, okay. Well, we already mentioned Shiley, so I think that's a given. I also feel like it's a perfect opportunity for Simone Rose. Because what I get from Simone Rose is that she is an A-list performance star waiting to really emerge to really come into her, like it's there. And now she's had enough years competing with the seniors that she can be like, all right, everybody step aside. I'm the star. Like she's ready to be a star. And I feel like this could be her like emerging, like I actually know how to perform. Like I can actually give personality in my gymnastics. And I'm ready to show it now.
Yes.
I would like Simone Rose here. That would be good. For US men, I think the problem is that men cannot compete on pommel horse. So we can't get Steven Nedorosek to come back and compete here, but I think he should anyway and just do like a layout on floor.
Yeah. Well,
Steven and Kenzo should do women's floor.
Yes. Can show off his new dance moves that he's learned.
Right. You're supposed to be a dancer now, so I want that.
Or it should be a tag team routine where like he can dance and then Simone Rose can tumble for him.
Good. Yeah.
That would be even better.
That would be good.
Yeah. Before we get to some more Gymternet news and then the new college gymnastics rules and who from your favorite elite gymnasts are going to compete in NCAA this coming year, we have some updates. Live show is happening
Cecile, Landi, and Levi Jung-Ruivivar. Those are our featured guests at the GymCastic live show happening this Sunday, December 14th. It's virtual, so you can attend from anywhere. But remember, GymCastic live shows are never made public because
the chalk bowl is full of secrets.
So we will see you with Cecile, Landi, Olympian and Olympic champion coach, and Levi Jung-Ruivivar, Olympian for the Philippines and Stanford star, at 3 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. Get your tickets at gymcastic.com.
If you have your season pass, look for an email on how to log in. And it's on December 14th. And you can ask questions live. And it's very fun. And we will be picking some people to play some games virtually. So if you would like to be a participant, we just have to check in with you ahead of time. Make sure your mic and your camera are working. You cannot attend if you are a potential student athlete. This is the one thing that we have to tell you. You cannot attend. But otherwise, they're very fun. We enjoy them very much. And it will be at 3 p.m. That's Pacific, 3 p.m. Pacific, this coming December 14th. That is a Sunday. So we look forward to seeing you guys there. And tickets will be at gymcastic.com. Merch. We have merch on sale for you. It is a great time to get your merch now, especially if you're getting it for Christmas, because you have to order by December 15th, which is the day after the live show, in order to make sure you get your stuff on time so you can represent your crew, which is GymCastic, and let everybody know that you're a gym nerd. And we do have shorts and we have socks now, you guys. So please enjoy. Check it out at gymcastic.com at the store tab. Yeah, so thanks, you guys. And remember that Club Gym Nerd, where you get an extra podcast every single week, makes a great gift. You can give it as a gift, surprise someone. You can even surprise them with a mini commission. You'd be like, I'm giving the gift at the world champion level, and now you get a mini commission where we'll talk about anything tangentially gymnastics related, like we will later in this episode, for 10 to 15 minutes. Anything at all. Let's get to the Gymternet news.
Let's do it.
We have a new element for women. What is the element, Spencer?
Okay, as we mentioned, Minamino from Japan, who competed at Junior Worlds, somewhat surprisingly to me, got an element named after herself, the piked Jaeger full on bars. I assumed she was performing the layout Jaeger full, like we have seen at Junior Worlds. She does pike it at the end. So a fair determination, I think, that this can be piked. And now it's her own skill. A piked layout, basically. A piked Jaeger full on bars. But we discussed some of our issues on behind the scenes with the consistency of the way the Women's Technical Committee evaluates the possibility of twisting in a piked position. And I feel like we've opened up some issues where events are not being treated the same way.
Yeah.
Because you can't do like piked full vault. They're like, no, that's a layout with bad layout position deduction. But you can do a piked full on bars? What's happening?
Right. This is the problem. We would like the same rules to apply across events. In other news, Georgia, University of Georgia Bulldogs, one of their collectives which is basically a bunch of people get together and pay the athletes, is suing an athlete who transferred. So this is big,
this is
gigantic.
Not gymnastics, I'm assuming.
Not gymnastics related, by the way. It's not gymnastics related. It's a football. But big implications for the future, because a lot of the contracts, these NIL contracts now, have a liquidated damages clause. It's not uncommon. And this means basically we have set aside and invested this much money for you. And if you transfer, you owe us what we would have paid you, which sounds insane. But in this case, they're asking him for $390K that he owes the collective, even though they didn't pay him that. They had invested it in. So this is the thing. First of all, the athletes need a golden parachute, like transfer clause. Like if that is in, you're going to owe all that money if you transfer. Don't sign that, or don't transfer. But you should be, because you're actually a student. You should be allowed to transfer. Or if you never get to play in another place where he is doing really well at the school that he transferred to, you should be able to do that. But a golden parachute is basically like, there's like this is what a golden parachute is. There's some football coach who, even though he got fired without cause. He's making more money not working because he got let go than he was working. They have to pay him out his entire contract, even though he's not coaching anymore, which is just nuts. It's basically, yeah, it's insane. So athletes like this guy need a better lawyer, and any athletes that's signing an NIL contract. And yeah, that's not good. But also, athletes.org this weekend released a collective bargaining agreement. So that is a union. It's an agreement that you negotiate with an employer for a union to get what they want, all the workers to get what they want out of contracts. So this is great. They talked to a whole bunch of athletes, took into account what they wanted, represented them in this collective bargaining agreement. And it is this is a sign of where the future is going, because there needs to be revenue sharing. There needs to be more protections for the athletes. And it's all like the Wild West. There's also a bill in Congress, but Congress getting nothing done. So who knows what will happen with that. But in the meantime, this is another option. So we'll see what happens. In more gymnastics news, Max Whitlock, Olympic and world champion on pommel horse, has come out of retirement for LA 2028.
Okay.
And he has also
put him on the British team for the American Cup.
That's right. So there's that. I'm excited about that. Chuso said she's training for the 2026 World Cup series. So
correct.
Excellent. She might be the first elite gymnast, as she has to be, the first elite gymnast who has ever competed at this level in menopause or near menopause or through perimenopause. Like, I know there's tons of adult gymnasts do that, but like, it affects your bone density and all this stuff. And I just totally want to talk to her about it. But I don't know if, when you're an Uzbek woman, if this is if you're open to chatting about these things. But I would be very interesting. Also, she probably has the bone density of a block of cement, because she's been an elite athlete her entire life. So, but yeah, I think it's really interesting. And we talked about this before, because like Germany, if you do adult gymnastics, if you're over 40 for women, they won't let you compete on the regular beam because of bone density. But like, it's Chuso, so obviously they're not going to have an elite meet where you have to use the low bench on the ground.
Imagine like suddenly Chuso's doing a beam routine on the low beam.
She's like, what the hell? Jayla Hang had surgery on her navicular scaphoid bone in her wrist. She put up a video about it. So this is very good news, because she's getting this actually fixed. Unlike, remember the lesson of Courtney McCool, where her
at the 2004 Olympics?
Where she did not have a good Olympics, and then she could not do a lot of gymnastics for a very, very, very long time because the scaphoid does not heal well. And just like Jayla shows in this, she has to get a screw put in it to help it heal. And if you don't get it taken care of, then it will not heal. And so that affected her for years and years and years. And she had a terrible Olympics and was in horrible pain. And notoriously, her coaches would not let her be looked at. So the FIG we talked about has hired.
People spent decades being like, McCool choked at the Olympics.
Yeah.
And that becomes the narrative, because when you don't talk about your injuries.
Your injuries, like you had a dead bone in your wrist, and that must hurt really, really bad. We talked about the FIG hiring the new Ethics Foundation head. It's a Swiss lawyer, formerly counsel at CAS, which is the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So it'll be interesting to see how this attorney interprets the rules and upholds the safeguarding rules in this position at the FIG. We have some lawsuits and dumpster fire news. Prepare yourself.
Yay!
Oh, yes. It's a never-ending story in all sports, not just gymnastics, it turns out. So after the great investigative journalism done by Eddie Pels at the AP, Chow's Gymnastics is now being sued, because the lawsuit alleges that Chow's and safesport were warned about this coach and his behavior, and the coach was reported to safesport before he then went on to continue to abuse athletes at Chow's, and now is facing charges for criminal images against children. So the lawyers that are involved in this, Chow's are fucked. Let me just tell you right now. And safesport, they are really fucked. They're gonna lose. A former Rutgers gymnastics coach, Celine Beasley, who we talked about before, is suing Rutgers, obviously, for wrongful termination. She said it's a witch hunt. Remember, there was this whole thing where she was suspended, and then the athletic director quit out of the blue, and there were allegations that he had an inappropriate relationship with an employee, and the allegation was that it was against her, and so she's no longer coaching, and she's like, that didn't happen, this is not okay, and she is suing Rutgers. So this will be interesting to see what happens. The Trump administration, shockingly, is refusing visas to athletes from the Caribbean, places like Cuba and other countries, preventing them from participating in qualifying events for the LA 28 Olympics. That is a very big problem. And this is why, unless this is fixed, I feel like LA should not be allowed to hold this when there is such an administration in place, because that is totally not fair. So I wonder how they are going to fix this system. Now, Spencer, I know that you doubted me, but I would just like to show the evidence.
Did I?
Yes.
Because I oftentimes things happen, and then you say, Spencer doubted me, and I'm like, that never happened, but fine. Yes, what? What did I doubt you about? What did I obviously doubt you about?
2 top teams used horses in their photo shoots for this
oh my god, your
season.
obsession with these.
See, you guys, Utah now released all their horse photos, and they are on the horses.
Great.
And they seem to be in front of some kind of farm, and they are in leotards and boots, which my dad would have burned this school down if he had seen them putting us in these.
Wherever this was shot looks like a great location for like a cozy murder mystery.
Yes.
Just in case people are looking for like where to put, like, there's definitely been a murder in that house kind of show.
Or like a trad wife making cookies background too would be good. Let's look at the Oklahoma ones.
Boring, and mine's more interesting.
Yes. Oh, maybe a trad wife murder mystery. That's another one. That show hasn't been made yet. We show the Oklahoma pictures. Yeah. So Oklahoma also, they put theirs out first, or they put them out right when Utah put out one picture, and then Oklahoma put all the pictures out, and they are like posing in a field. So I would like to propose, so that like this doesn't happen again in the future, that like, I mean,
so which part, that people have the same idea, or like horse gymnastics?
I mean, horses are great. Everyone loves horses. Everyone loves animals. Horse gymnastics is great. It's an actual sport. But Oklahoma is right next to an animal shelter, like where they compete. And I think it would be great to have a dual photo release, which was a dual purpose, if you will. So they are posing with adoptable animals for their photo shoot. It's like the team, the awards, chandeliers, and puppies. You know what I mean? It would be harder to control, obviously, but like, wouldn't that be cool if it was like, it's our photo shoot, but also, don't you want to adopt these animals? Spencer.
Sure.
It's genius. A cause and a photo shoot together. Thanks.
Yeah,
I mean, use that idea for free. Namor has released her book, The Shadow of Gold. And she does detail some specifics on what happened at the gym that she left. So we are looking forward to a translation of that book, because I very much want to read it. University of Minnesota Men's Gymnastics Club has a new facility, but you guys already know that because we talked about it with Charlie Larson when he was on the show. But yeah, like they don't have a team anymore, but they did finally get a new facility. European Gymnastics allows Russia to participate in its tournaments as neutral athletes. So, European Gymnastics was like, oh, hell no, we are not allowing this, but now they have to. So, yeah, European Gymnastics had to let them back in.
How do you have people competing as neutral individuals on a team? Like, how do you have a team? How are you allowed to have a team if you're a neutral individual?
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I think they're running into their own hypocrisy and complications and just deciding not to deal with it.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it would be great if they put all the neutral athletes, they mix and match them. Then, yeah. So we might have more information about why the great Iranian vaulter, the guy that does the full-in.
Mahdi Al-Fati.
Mahdi Al-Fati, thank you. So, he wasn't at Worlds. He only goes to like one meet a year, even though he's probably the best vaulter, second best vaulter in the world, top 3. The Iranian Gymnastics Federation building was sealed without explanation, according to Iran Wire. In late November, Iranian police sealed the Gymnastics Federation building without providing an explanation. They blocked staff and the athletes from entering the facility. Employees, coaches, and athletes waited outside of the locked facility with no information on how long it was going to be shut down. And that's that. Yeah. Welcome to authoritarian, totalitarian government. Speaking of which, is Trump going to block Russian visas for these neutral athletes? Of course not. Over to Japan. We did talk about Aurora has retired.
Yes, 2021 world beam champion.
Yeah, after her scoliosis. And we've talked about how, so many people talk about athletes' ages as if their height has anything to do with ages. And then you find out they had like horrible scoliosis and they grow like 100 feet after they have their scoliosis surgery. Claire Pease has committed to Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I don't know. I thought she would go to like Oklahoma or LSU or I don't know. I think it's really interesting.
I mean, I'm interested in why this was surprising to you because I'm like, yeah, top gymnast goes to top school. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I thought she would want to go to the school that's won the most. And so I was like, oh,
historically,
Oklahoma.
Utah.
But Utah has won the most. So just not in a long time.
They'll let you know, tied with Georgia, because one of the 10 was not an NCAA official NCAA title. So if you only use NCAA, Georgia's at 10 and Utah's at 9. But Utah will tell you there was one of them before women were invented, so it's 10 to 10.
Dulcie Kaler is deferring NCAA. She's committed to Florida, but deferring till after the LA Olympics. Spencer, you have a really interesting family history. Tell me some of the things that you have learned and maybe you wish you would have had StoryWorth for.
Yeah, well, I was thinking because once again, Romanian birth certificates are in the news, in the gymnastics news again. And it makes me think of, I have a not my own Romanian birth certificate for my great-grandpa who his whole life, the story of an immigrant in the United States, like, okay, had to change his last name, spent his whole life saying he was born in Missouri. And it wasn't until after he died and like my relatives, my parents and grandparents were going through his things that they found his Romanian birth certificate because he was born in Romania. And this was brand new information. And it's the kind of thing like, well, I want to know everything now. Because this wasn't found until after he had died. So it's like, you miss all of that information. It's like, I want the StoryWorth story. I want in his words, his experience of like, now that I don't have to lie about where I was born anymore, because I'm like 100 years old, so who cares at this point? This is what actually happened. And it's all of those stories that I so desperately would love to have that you don't have and you miss because there's no one to tell the story because no one knows. No one's alive who knows it.
So this is why we both recommend StoryWorth memoirs for your loved ones this holiday season. It's easy. They will love it. It's a gift they won't see coming. It's something that makes them truly special. And it's the gift that you can gift to the rest of the family and pass on their legacy in their own words. You choose a prompt or they have questions that they will send to your relative or loved one, whoever it is, even a friend, each week. And then they can respond to those prompts and answer the questions either by email or they can record it over the phone. They don't have to type anything and StoryWorth will transcribe it. It's super easy. No apps, no passwords required. It's perfect for even your most tech challenged relatives. if you know what I mean. So at the end of the year, they print a book and you can add photos to this. It's a beautiful keepsake. We are planning on passing this on to the family. Like my mom is using it as her, this is my life story. And the photos are printed in vibrant color. It's beautiful. So this year they've added a bunch of new features to make the storytelling even easier. So they have the personalized questions, magic editor, which, you know, I would need. They have a magic layout, which helps with new book designs for the finished books, especially the photos. They look even more beautiful. And they just rolled out the Spanish language support. A Storyworth has printed over 1 million books and preserved 35 million family stories since their founding 13 years ago. They have over 48,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. How can the people get the Storyworth?
Give your loved ones a unique keepsake you'll all cherish for years, Storyworth Memoirs. Right now, save $10 or more during their holiday sale when you go to storyworth.com/gymcastic. That's storyworth.com/gymcastic to save $10 or more on your order.
Let us discuss the college season. This coming 2026, we have new rules. So welcome to a Gym Nerd School College Gymnastics Rules Edition 2026.
I knew that sound effect was coming. Okay. Biggest change, biggest news in terms of different college gymnastics in 2026 than it was in 2025 is the new NQS, the National Qualifying Score. So the National Qualifying Score decides the rankings. That's who makes the postseason elimination meets. Once all of the regular season meets are done, everyone has an NQS. That's how they're ranked. We've gotten rid of the old version. So the old version was they would take your top 6 scores during the season, usually 11 to 13 meets total. At least 3 of them had to be away. You dropped the high and you averaged the remaining 5. That's how it's been for many, many years. That's how teams were ranked. That's gone now. It's out. We're done. Get rid of it. So first of all, I feel like my sense in our conversations is that you are in favor of getting rid of the old one. So do you want to explain why that needed to die?
Yeah, because too many meets didn't count. You had like 13 meets before postseason and like basically nothing mattered. It was just like, I mean, barely any mattered. So you had only 5 of those scores ranked. Like it's a sport. It's about wins and losses. You don't get 8 do-overs. So, you know, I like that most meets actually matter now. Because before it was like it was just a meet for fun basically, and it didn't matter at all. And like that's not how sports are supposed to work. So you know, I would like it all just to be for art and fun and the beauty and the challenge of the art itself. But if it's going to be a sport, then it should matter.
Yeah.
And the other thing is basically it was rigged in favor of the elite teams. So the top teams had a safety net. So they would always remain the top teams because upsets basically had no significance. So you had a team that had, you know, won NCAA championships and they're beat by a team that's ranked like 30th one time. It didn't even matter. So I like that basically like if you mess up, it matters. So all the meets have more weight, or more meets have more weight now, essentially.
Yeah. So the new version is you take all of your scores now, you drop 1 high and 1 low in case something weird happens, and then you average the rest of the scores. That's at least the broad headline. There are some caveats to that to make sure the system is not abused. As your schedule has to follow a 5-5 rule, which means minimum 5 away meets, maximum 5 home meets can count. So they're trying to make sure, okay, yes, we're counting almost all of your meets, but you still have to like compete away and not just like have schedule opponents you're obviously going to beat at home and then score 100 billion every meet. So you're basically taking most of the scores, but we have the don't be a homebody rule. So if you have more than 5 home meets on your schedule, you have to count your 5 lowest home scores. So you're dropping more highs to encourage teams not to just load up on home meets. So I kind of like it. It's kind of like you have to count your 5 lowest. I do like that part of the idea. Like, we're going to punish you for having too many home meets and make you drop more high scores. Also part of that is that everyone's invited except Utah rule, which also says that you can only count 1 quote unquote local meet as an away meet, meaning local means it's within 30 miles of your home institution. And this does not include the conference championship. So we're excluding that. So this basically, to explain, affects exactly one team, Utah, because it's specifically a rule designed about Utah, and how many meets they have at the Maverick Center. So if you're not following every inch of this, Utah's home venue is the Huntsman Center at the University of Utah. In the greater Salt Lake City area, there is also the Maverick Center that the Utah gymnastics team has an agreement with. They have a podium because they can't fit a podium in the Huntsman Center, Utah's main home arena. So they can have a podium at the Maverick Center. It's nearby. Utah has a number of meets scheduled there and has every year. And those have counted as away meets because they're not actually technically at Utah's home venue. But everyone kind of looks at it and says, all right, but it's basically down the road. Like, that's a home meet. So this has been controversial. If you look at Utah's 2026 schedule for this season, they have 5 meets scheduled at the Huntsman, their actual home arena, 3 more meets scheduled at the Maverick Center, and then 4 meets that are away. So Utah was saying, okay, so we have 5 home meets and 7 away meets. We have 5 meets at the Huntsman Center and 7 meets that aren't, so that's 7 away meets. And everyone else was saying, actually, you have 8 home meets and 4 away meets, because you have 8 meets that are nearby. So this rule is kind of a compromise, actually, because you can still count 1 local meet as a home meet, and it doesn't include conference championships. So Utah has the Sprouts Quad scheduled on January 10th at the Maverick Center. That can count it as an away meet because it's the first one. The next week, they have the Best of Utah meet scheduled at the Maverick Center. Now that has to count as a home meet, because that's their second regular season meet at that location. And then there's the third one, the conference championships, and that could still count as an away meet because conference championships are excluded from this rule. So basically, like, 2 of the 3 are still counting as away meets, just 1 isn't. So it's kind of a compromise, but I do always enjoy when rules are created specifically about one team.
And there are like
very little transparency. There are a lot of other teams that do it, but they only do it once. And that's, I think, Utah's main complaint is, like, you're specifically targeting us, but like LSU has a podium meet down the street every year. It's just, it's one. Right. So they can still count it. And so, like, if I'm Utah, I'm like, this is some BS because you're protecting all the other schools who do it once and not protecting us. Like, either it's a home meet or it's an away meet.
Yep. And there's definitely, like, I hear people are going to be like, well, it's not just Utah because there's like Sac State and UC Davis are 20 miles from each other. Or like, what about Stanford or Berkeley? 32 miles apart. But there's definitely, like, Michigan has 700 teams. So, like, they're certainly one of them.
If you're going away,
but it's the top, right? But it's these are like the top. I mean, Utah is a threat to win, and they are doing it so many times. That's the thing. It's a top team, and they're doing it. Right. They're doing it over and over and over, just going down the street. And I don't even think it's not even like the distance thing and your home fans. It's that they get to compete. Like, it's harder for everyone else that competes against them there. And I know you're going to be like, oh my God, drink. Jessica's going to say altitude, but it's true. It's true. It's a huge advantage for them to compete at home and other people to come there. It's way harder for them. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I think good first step now, just say they're all home meets. If you're the host institution, it's a home meet. Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Overall, I think I'm positive with this change in general because of what you said about more meets counting. Yeah. And just like your regular Friday night heights, I feel like when you turn it on in January, it should matter a little bit more because you can't just be like, oh, well, they're not going to count any of these scores. You can, like, dink around for the first month because it doesn't even matter. So that's good. I have to rewrite some spreadsheets, Jessica. So we have to. Won't somebody please think about me more when they're considering rules, and not like the gymnasts or the schools or the coaches or anything. Forget about that. Think about me and what these rules do to me. Is just what I'd like a little bit more awareness of that. I also do want to talk about controversy radar activated because when you look at the team schedules this year, some of the top teams are going to have to drop 2 high scores, and some of the top teams are going to have to drop 1. So it's not just Utah, because now Utah has more than 5 home meets because of this rule, but also Missouri has 6 scheduled. Auburn has 6 scheduled. So they're going to have to drop a high home and a high overall score, where like Oklahoma, UCLA, LSU, Florida, they're only going to have to drop one high score. And we're going to hear about this. Just get ready. Because, like, we're going to hear about it. Like, oh, it's unfair because we have to drop 2 high scores, but they only have to drop 1. Like, it's going to be such a thing. So just be ready for that in, like, March.
Mm-hmm. And my answer to that is, like, be undeniable. Dominate, and you won't have problems. And also, like, I know what some of the teams are going to say, like, well, this isn't fair because basically the way our schedule works is 1 year we travel to these teams, and the next year they come to us. And we like mix and match, and we didn't know about this rule, so we couldn't change our schedule. We don't really control our schedule because TV controls our schedule, or really the SEC TV controls our schedule. So it's not fair to the rest of us. But I mean, you just know you can't have so many, home meets. Like
or
everything
you can have those
counts.
home meets, but just like
they're just not going to count.
Better be good at all of them because some of them aren't going to count.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would start with home meets.
Issue is, why are there so many mistakes in your example document of how the new NQS is going to work? That is what I have to say to the NCAA, because on the NCAA website they put up a document about it with the examples, and there are like 3 mistakes in the example. So I'm like, that doesn't bode super awesome for
on
anyone.
NCAA.org or the
NCAA.org.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They give examples, and I'm like, okay, but isn't right. You've made an intrinsic mistake in your own example. Oh, good one. There are like 2 or 3.
I think you should redline it and put it up on the balance beam situation. Like, but do actual pen marks.
Sure.
Circle X. Yeah, seriously.
Okay.
I think this is very important because, this is an ongoing issue. Okay, so is it time for our yellow card game?
It is. I think it is time for our yellow card game. Okay, so we have new yellow card rules, guidelines for college coaches for unsportsmanlike conduct and what is going to constitute a yellow card. With the caveat that they are already undermining their own rules, because they say like, these are potential situations judges might consider in which maybe thinking about giving a yellow card. So it's already telling us like they're not actually going to follow any of this. But this is the game we're going to play because, okay, Jessica, I'm going to tell you the new rule. I'm going to read the new rule to you. Your job, your assignment, should you choose to accept it, is you tell me the coach, past or present, college or elite, most deserving of receiving a yellow card for this particular offense. Bonus points if you can give real life examples that have happened. Your only rule is, like Utah at the Maverick Center, you can only say Bella Caroli once. So, because otherwise the answer to every question would be Bella Caroli. So you get 1 Bella Caroli card and you have to use it wisely. Okay?
Yeah. Ready.
Our new examples of unsportsmanlike behavior for a yellow card. Number 1, addresses an official in a disrespectful manner.
I'm gonna say Jay Clark for this, since he got
the
yellow card last year, which, it's hard to get the yellow card. So
well, it shouldn't be anymore because I can think of many times coaches have addressed an official in a disrespectful manner.
Many, many times. So I'm gonna say Jay Clark.
Okay. Number 2. Attempts to influence an official's decision by words, expressions, gestures, body language, or similar behavior.
So I'm going to say...
Literally every coach ever.
I know, that's the thing. I could go Miss Val or Suzanne Yocklin with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have specific examples?
There's a lot of leaning and eye rolling.
The worst. That would be a tough rule for Miss Val. Expressions, because like famously, Miss Val eyes was one of her weapons, like a top 5 list of weapons. Like if you got the eyes, it was never the yelling. There was not a lot of like, at least publicly. I don't know what was happening privately.
I mean, I never saw any yelling in practices, who knows?
It was like some coaches got really boisterous. Like Val would get boisterous in terms of trying to amp the crowd up for like getting excited floor routines. But if she was mad about something, that was silent eyes.
Yes.
That was stalking, looking.
Although I wonder in the early days, because she did give those examples if she thought she was supposed to be like, a sports ball men's coach and yell, and that's how, how it worked. So Yeah. Okay.
So,
but what about
sub question? Do 10 hands count? Because I would say that is a gesture
Yes. Yeah.
attempting to influence an official's decision. So
It
are we
has
like
to count.
the letter of the law? Every time a coach does like 10, 10, 10 with their hands, that should be a yellow card. So I'm like,
100%.
Adrian Burdett, watch out. Because it's every damn fault, whether they stuck or not. That's getting 10 hands. So I'm like, he should get a yellow card every meet if we're actually following this.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's 100%. If any coach at any time does 10 hands, that's it.
That's a
yellow card.
Attempting to influence.
It's a gesture, yeah.
On the Florida topic, though, does ass lighting count? Which, if you're not familiar, that is when you use your butt to obstruct the judge's view while someone is dismounting bars so that the judges cannot see whether they stepped or not.
Yeah.
That is it's body language. I think that counts as body language.
It is body language. I don't think this is going to count. I don't think it is going to count. I think you need dead booty to spot.
Sure.
So
just for spotting,
safety.
You need a base to spot.
You do. And the bigger and more muscular it is, it's very important. So, I don't think so. I think Owen's safe.
Number 3.
Yes.
Objects to an official's decision by excessive and disrespectful words, expressions, gestures, body language, or similar behaviors. So we just had attempts to influence. Now we have objecting.
I'm going to say Greg Marsden.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely did this back in the day. Definitely he got a red card. He got thrown out once. So
we're going to need, if they take the letter of the law, we're going to need to go past red card for some of these coaches.
I know, we're going to need
that's an infrared card.
All the colors. What I really want is fans need to start bringing yellow cards to the meets. This is your job. You point when you see a coach doing a 10 and you hold up your yellow card.
Yellow card. Can't do it. Can't do 10 hands. Yeah.
Yeah. Fans do this in other sports, you guys, and we need to get on this. Employ the yellow card.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4. Uses a loud voice and hostile gestures when talking to a meet referee.
Ooh. Okay. I could go a couple things. All right.
I mean, you could use your Bella Caroli card very easily for this.
Oh, yeah. Bella Caroli for sure. 100% already. Like, we saw this a million times. Yes. Like, just absolute, act like a toddler who hasn't gotten their way.
Yeah.
And because you think that, yes, that could absolutely be Bella Caroli.
Answer. Oh, sorry, I totally just answered my own question instead of allowing you to. Feel free, please go.
What if the coach is in the stands, though? Because you remember when Marta was in the stands for when Allie in London did her beam routine and like Panora would have won, but then Marta was in the stands like being like, inquiry! And then they did an inquiry and she did do they have to, it's only people on the floor. But then, like in a lot of elite meets, you have to switch places because you don't have enough credentials.
Well,
for
these
everybody.
are college rules, but
Okay. But I'm just, okay.
Yeah. I would say possible answer. I'm going to say Dana Duckworth, the hostile gestures when talking to the judges and meet referees, there was often a hand.
Yeah.
I feel like she might have gotten that a time or two for hostile gestures.
Yep.
Okay, number 5. I didn't include all of them because some of them are your actual say something racist or something, and I'm like, okay, that was always the rule. But number 5, incites undesirable crowd reactions.
I mean, this could be
undesirable crowd reactions. Yeah. I mean, I think it's maybe a shame that you already used your Jay Clark because,
I know,
getting the crowd to boo if the judges only gave a 9.95 instead of a 10.
And I mean, Suzanne Yoklin, and I don't remember if Sarah Patterson ever did that. I don't remember, but maybe the husband with the pants, the guy that always wore the golf pants to coach. Was that, or no, that was the guy that went to Oregon. But then I'm thinking Bev Plocky, though.
Really? Okay.
I don't know if she's ever turned to the crowd, but I feel like I feel like you guys who've been to the Michigan meets, because it's very hard, because, all we get is a camera on the ceiling of the Michigan meets most of the time to see. But like, has Bev looked at the audience and rolled her eyes? But how is inciting any communication? How do you
Also, what does undesirable mean? Is booing undesirable? Because it's very desirable to me.
Right.
I
Booing
love
is
it when the
great.
crowd's boo.
Right.
You're getting the crowd involved. So I think legally there's such a loophole here because you have to define what undesirable it means.
I mean, because the way that this, in order to say, you'd have to get on a microphone and say something like,
everybody boo Fran for giving a 9-9 for that routine.
I'm going to march with you. We're going to take back the score. I'll meet you there. That kind of thing would be inciting, for example, provably. But if it's just, if it's just look or, oh, well.
Deeply important, and we need to talk about it all season long. And I think College and Cocktail's assignment, we need to keep yellow card records of anyone who breaks these rules and does not receive a yellow card. We need to keep our own yellow card accounting this season.
Yes. Oh my God, it's going to be such a huge scoreboard of missed opportunities.
The largest Excel spreadsheet of all time.
Oh my God.
So how many times?
So is the meet referee also keeping track of who should have been getting a yellow card?
If they should be giving a yellow card.
I mean, yeah, but in addition, like, because they're not judging, like, just watching what are the coaches doing the whole time. Like, do they see some shenanigans out of the corner of their eye? I mean, this is so incites undesirable crowd reactions is going to be such a problem. That needs very specific definitions.
It would also imply that people are actually doing this, which my assumption is that this is going to be one of those things that enters the college rules and then everyone forgets about it after 1.5 seconds and no one ever does anything differently. And I kind of like,
I won't.
As fun as it is to talk about yellow cards, like I want inciting the crowd. That's all fun and good for the sport. Like a lot of this is like, I don't think it actually should be punished. I just love the idea of just like constantly giving all these coaches yellow cards. Like that's very fun for me.
Okay, so tell us about the judging changes, because every year there's a judging change and they just ignore them after like 2 weeks. So
the summary of the judging changes is that they didn't do nearly enough. But there is one good thing, which is this is the judges can now check themselves before they wreck themselves a little bit more. So if the two judges are on an event and judge number 2 sees that judge number 1 made like an obvious, like big time obvious mathematical error, like you gave her a 9.7 even though she fell and a fall is 0.5, they can step in and call a conference even if an automatic conference wouldn't have been generated and just be like, just so you know, you made a huge error and it's going to be really embarrassing for everyone if that goes through. So fix your score before anyone sees it. They can kind of check themselves a little bit more beforehand, which is good because last season, this is spurred by another thing that's like a specific rule example because Kaylee Boozer at Michigan fell on beam and then one of the judges still gave the routine a 9.55, which is not possible because a fall is half a point. So the maximum you could get is a 9.5. So now the other judge could have stepped in and said, you did that wrong before that score is posted and everyone gets upset at this, completely incorrectly judged sport. And maybe we can fix it before it becomes such a big problem like it did last year. So that's good. That's what that's about. One of the weirdest things that I think is kind of a tell is that they added a provision that coaches can now inquire a score if the judges are out of range. Now, that's already an automatic conference. Right. If the judges are out of range. So basically, you've added a rule to say the coaches can check up on the judges if they didn't do their job that they were supposed to do in the first place, which is kind of like, okay, but that shouldn't ever have needed to happen in the first place.
Right. This is all you need to know about the state of college gymnastics judging, that they needed a rule because there's so many problems. I mean,
basically, the coaches can check up if the rules weren't followed a little bit more, is what that says. In the Paris floor final, the Power That Has department, We've now clarified that you have 6 minutes to submit an inquiry after the final routine, which has now been spelled out for some reason that, we wouldn't possibly know why. That is now written now, but 6 minutes.
I like that because think about what happened in Missouri. Was it Missouri's last routine at NCAAs, and they did an inquiry, and then it changed to move them up this year? I remember I went down and talked to their coach and confirmed that he had submitted an inquiry because we got nothing to show that there was an inquiry.
But you've got a lot more time than in elite.
Yeah, which is good.
6 minutes. Also in the China at 2003 Worlds, the power that has, we have clarified about what gymnastics you can do on the mats before your routine. So it says the athlete who's next up to compete may invert or perform a gymnastics element on the mats surrounding beam, uneven bars, and floor exercise, not within the boundaries, or on the vault runway prior to the signal. This is during the regular season, not at championships. If the gymnast performs an element after the chief judge's signal, it is a deduction for exceeding the warm-up time. I really just say this because it's always like every season someone gets mad because their rival team was like doing gymnastics on the podium before their routine.
Also called warming up. This is what doesn't make any sense. Why can you warm up on the podium during season, but then not in postseason?
I think it probably has to do with the podium. Because you're not on podium most of the season, maybe? Or just no one actually wants to get anyone in trouble at any time when it would matter.
There you go. But now, because it's hard to remember that all of a sudden you do something that's normal, you do your handstand right before blah, 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 and then it's postseason, and all of a sudden you've cost your team a 10th.
Which,
or whatever it is.
It would always just be a warning. Like, remember that time a couple years ago at NCAA Nationals when we were just like hanging out in the arena in between the semifinals, and a few of the Utah gymnasts just came out and warmed up and were kind of on the vault, and then someone came over to them and was like, you can't do that, and then they left. And it wasn't like a big deal. It wasn't a deduction. Just one of the officials was like, actually, you're not allowed to do that right now. And it was fine. And that's how those things should be handled. Like, it's just say that you can't do that, and then it's fine.
Yeah.
Unless it's like you do it a million times and then you're cheating and it's egregious, but this was just like random.
These teams love to turn each other in, which I understand because everyone's supposed to follow the rules and be on the level playing field. And we know that's not how the world works. And it aggravates me all the time.
Okay. I have a little bit more in the nonsense department. Our favorite department.
This is very upsetting to me personally.
All right.
This next rule.
In the nonsense department, I'm going to read first of all the part of this rule that already existed, and then I will stop and then say this is the new part. The part that already existed, gymnasts are only permitted to wear stud piercings. No other jewelry is permitted. After a warning, a 0.2 deduction will be taken from the gymnast score for each occurrence. That's the old part. The new part, a stud piercing is a style of earring or jewelry that sits directly on the earlobe or body part without dangling as a decorative element that appears to float on the ear or body part. And we're really addressing the real problems, like defining what a stud earring is. Like, you know how you have to add a rule that specifically defines what a stud piercing is, but you're fine just saying undesirable crowd reaction. But if it comes to a piercing, we need to specifically say it better look like it's floating. Otherwise, you are a failure and maybe like a bad girl.
You should not be able to wear any piercings or be able to wear piercings. Period. End of story. Because you can rip an earring, a stud earring, out and through your earlobe so that it rips in half just as easily as a nose ring or a belly ring or any other kind of piercing that you have. All of it can be ripped out and cause a delay if that's what we're actually worried about, which is I think we're not actually worried about that. We're worried about the appearance of the athletes and how they look. That's the real thing. We're policing women's bodies. Right, exactly. Because we had a lot of people finally competing freely, not having to take their nose rings out. Remember, it used to be everyone had to cover up their tattoos. And now there's like less of some people do still cover up their tattoos, even though they don't have to, which tells you what they think about the judging and how they think they're going to be policed. But this bothers me so much. No piercings at all or any are allowed. Period. Or you could just say any stud piercing is allowed, but no rings. That's another thing they could do. because a ring can kind of get caught easier. But yeah, this is just like ridiculous. Okay, what else?
What
Ridiculous
sport
rules.
is this department? I'm just going to read something, and I would like you to have facial expressions and then express those facial expressions via words. The athletes may have a name and or number on her warm-up apparel and leotard as long as all team members use a similar font type and color. No nicknames or other words are permitted.
What?
Name and number on your leotard.
I mean, so I love the name and number on your leotard.
Boo.
I
Traitor.
love this.
Jessica. Monster.
It's very sports. And then if you have a number, then you don't have to wear those nonsense piece of paper on your back.
You already don't have to wear a nonsense piece of paper on your back. Just don't.
I mean, yeah, if you have only if you have you can prove that it'll rip off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't hate this. I like that it looks like sports-y.
I hate it because it's cosplaying at sportsy. There's no actual purpose. There's no identifying need to have your name on your leotard. It's just like, we want to look like what people think sports should look like. I hate it when they do it in men's NCAA because it's just like, it's apologizing for gymnastics being different than most other sports.
But would you rather have your last
fake
name on your back than have a number attached to you?
Well, sure, but can you I know what you mean, like you're identified by your name rather than by becoming a number, which is theoretically more impersonal. But yeah, it's like, if there should be a use, there should be a purpose.
Right, and that's what I mean. Like, I like this.
Also, it's ugly. It's ugly.
But I don't want this to be the norm. Like, I do love that the Leos can be totally different, and they can be, they can show their back muscles, and they don't have to have all of that. There's already so much shit on the Leos. My God, the freaking emblems they have to have for their conference. Like, who the fuck cares about your conference? No one cares. It's so lame. Like, how much is that conference paying you to advertise for them? I am totally object to that being on anyone's leotard, and they should be, if it has to be there, it should be like pinky size. So anyway, like, I think it's like, for one meet you can do this, but I don't want it to change into being like sports ball in this way.
Also, if you're saying it's for a practical reason, I feel like then it needs to be either every team all the time has to do this if it's for a practical reason, or don't. Because if it's just sometimes some teams do, then it's not practical. But anyway. Also, if you're going to do it, nicknames, that would be fun. Like, why not? Why no nicknames? Be like Brazilian soccer players, where you can just, like, you have your one word name that you go by. That's your, if you're going to do it, then at least make it fun and not stupid.
And it is hard too, because then you have people with like really long last names, or they have hyphenated last names, and then it's like taking up half their back, or it's in such a small font that no one can read it. So, I mean, there are, it's a thing.
There are lots of problems, is what we're saying.
The teams aren't going to want to do this except for one.
I know.
Because,
they'll be like, it's not pretty and sparkly enough.
Well, no, because they recycle the leotards. So, like, it's gross. Like, all these gymnasts, like, so many of them do not wear undergarments, and then someone else wears that leotard later. Like, for years. It's gross. I'm just saying. And it's so unhygienic, is what I'm saying. Don't even get me started on the men's sports and the stuff that they don't wear under their leotards, and their singlets and all of that stuff. But I'm just saying, it's gross.
You're going to say the stuff that they don't wash. It's everything.
Oh, God.
That's why professional sports have to have people whose whole job is washing.
That's why they have it in their contracts that they have to bathe. Yeah, it's don't grow a fungus. You must bathe. These are literal things in contracts. Anywho, yeah, it's gross. So they're not going to want to print someone's name on it, because then it's their leotard, and they don't get to like give this disgusting thing that has been worn by many people and pass it on and on and on. So yeah. Never forget Elastic Gate at UCLA that year, when the Leos were so old that the elastic failed and that meet should have been called off. It was horrific. Okay. Which of our favorite and your favorite elites are competing in NCAA this coming January,
Whoa.
starting in just a short half
Less
a month
than a month.
away?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're very
coming
soon.
up.
Our first College and Cocktails is January 2nd. It's a hop, skip, and a jump away. Okay. This is a really exciting year for international elites coming to NCAA. I'm very excited about it because I don't know why it feels different, but Anna Barbosu coming to do college gymnastics feels
huge,
different in some way than any other international well-known elite doing college gymnastics. Like, it's such a big deal to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, she's an Olympic medalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but like Olympic medalists.
And she's from Romania.
Before. Yeah, it's Romania.
Yeah.
Until
international,
the last year or so.
Which international medalists have come after winning an Olympic medal?
Kyla.
No, foreign, not.
Oh, international. Oh, okay.
Like, if some have won while they were simultaneously or after they were doing college gymnastics or while they were in college gymnastics, but not I've won an Olympic medal and now I'm coming to NCAA and I'm not an American. I don't think that's happened before in women's. I think that happened once in men's.
It's not. I know.
It's never happened before.
It's different. It's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big deal. In men, and yeah, men's, we know this has happened in men's. I think that was the guy that from China, and then he was promptly kicked out of Cal because they were like, we don't think you're taking or passing your classes. But yeah. So it's huge.
But also, so she's at Stanford. On the Stanford team, also Jennifer Williams, who just at European Championships got an 854 billion on beam. A few months ago, she injured her knee. So tentative, it was a partial PCL rupture a few months ago. So, give her some time. I'm not expecting the world. You can get back. But so that was also extremely exciting to see them on the Stanford team together. Speaking of people who are super accomplished on beam, Emma Milevsky, who has been the European champion on beam, is at Clemson. That's very fun. Tanya Paulson at Cal, who is going to tear it up in college gymnastics because her gymnastics is made for this code.
Yeah, how long have we been waiting for the Swedes? How long have we been telling college coaches recruit the Swedish gymnasts?
Everyone from Sweden. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to us. For like 10 years, we have been telling you this, and now they're finally here. Also, Clemson just had their showcase, and Milevsky did bars, and I was like, oh, her form is perfect. This routine is so easy for her. She is going to be the new Mara to Cecile. Except she does a double front, and she does it totally cowboyed. But it's a double front. And everybody calm down. Except for that part. That part. Yeah.
Emma Slevin is at Minnesota. One of our Irish favorites. That's another great one. It's just a good group. And this is not exhaustive. I'm just talking about Charlotte Booth at Auburn now, who is like a U.S. elite who competed for Great Britain. So she counts. She counts at the list.
I'm really interested to see Lily Kosman, who's an American Romanian who's competed in the Romanian system. And I'm interested to see her at Michigan State because Michigan State it's very interesting. They do things very differently. They're very performance first. They have, performance staff. So I'm excited to see how she does there. How about the U.S. elites? Where are everyone's favorite U.S. elites going? Where can they watch?
Okay, well, the answer is UCLA because they're all going to UCLA.
They are all.
It feels very 2000. It feels very 2000 in that way because I'm like, oh yeah, everyone went to UCLA because Ashley Sullivan's at UCLA, Tiana Sumina-Sacra, Nola Matthews, also Jordis Eichmann, who I feel like is not being talked about because she doesn't have the name recognition of the other one, but I think she's very well suited for this. They're going to be some tough lineups to make. I want to see where the elites fit into those UCLA lineups. Like Nola is a very interesting prospect to me because a top elite, great elite scores, but like I'm not necessarily saying you're going to be in the vault lineup on a college team. And there is it's one of those things where it's like, wait, how clean does the gymnastics get? Because she's a great gymnast with great execution, but there's always a little bit of knee. or a little bit of foot or something. So are you one of those gymnasts who you pare down the elite difficulty and you're like, I got this. It's clean and it's perfect and it's crisp. Very interested to see how that works out in terms of UCLA lineups, because it's not easy to make. If Childs is coming back, you got Tiana and Ashley Soul. Like, it's a deep team potentially.
Yeah.
But a lot of new people. So that's very interesting. Miley Liu at Michigan, I think, is deeply important to that team, because they like everyone graduated. They didn't have a great season last year. Ashley Sullivan was going to go there and then switch to UCLA. So I think there's some reliance on Miley Liu to be like, okay, spark of the next generation. But her execution on bars and beam is so good that I'm like, give her 1,000,000
Yep.
Very excited about that. Georgia has a great group.
Yes. Brooke Pearson.
Walker,
yeah. And Kamara Williams
is coming early. Yeah.
Kamara Williams coming early is so great, because Kamara, you guys remember her because she tumbles like you cannot believe. Her tumbling is so insane and so high. You've seen her at 1,000,000 Nastia Cups. And also she does that side, like anything sideways on beam that would terrify you and you would run screaming for the gym. Like, I'm never doing that skill. She will do. So standing transverse back tuck on beam, not a problem for her. She does it all. She is going to be such a star there, because they're going to see her tumbling and her beam, and people are going to just completely lose their minds. I'm so excited for her.
Another one I'm potentially excited for. We will see the routines. Nora Christian is at Utah. She would go for it. Like, difficulty-wise and elite. She was one of my favorites, and we talked about this before, because I'm like, she is not holding back. She will go for that element, and I'm very interested to see that. Bryn Torrey is at Auburn. She had, I would say, at Winter Cup this past year, the best Yurchenko double full of everyone at the competition. I thought hers was the strongest, so I want to see what she's doing on vault at Auburn. And Charlotte Booth is also there. Hopefully she's back, because she got injured at a World Cup in 2025. Who else? A lot of good stuff. Amelia Disador at Florida is another one where I'm like, it's very hard to get into a lineup, because I'm like, okay, Sky Blakely, let's put her in the all-around. You've got Kayla DiCello, is she back? MJ is transferring in. Selena Harris is there. Like, even with no Leanne, like, you put Anya Pilgrim, like Riley, like I've used up the entire lineups already on a lot of events, and I haven't even mentioned the people who do, like, Danny Ferris on vault, or like Li Bui, and all of the people who could make lineups. I think it's going to be tough, but she's a top elite, so could be anywhere.
Yeah, I'm
Gabby Van Fran's going to have to do a lot at Kentucky, because I'm kind of worried about their roster and whether they have enough top-level routines this year. If they are the most depleted of the SEC teams in terms of who's coming back, so I'm like, Gabby Van Fran's going to have to be a big deal for Kentucky.
Yeah. We have 2 mini commissions for you, but we have gone way over time. So we are going to do these next week. We have one about what would our favorite, like, we basically recruit our own NCAA teams from anyone that's competed for the last 3 years, but they can only compete once on one event. And so basically this is a fantasy lineup, and I love it. And I didn't look at yours at all when I picked mine, and you picked a lot of like extra people, and I didn't. I'm just saying. But
I didn't pick extra people. Those were just my notes. Okay. So in the outline, I have extra people listed, but that was just like to consider, or like, just in case Jessica needs to make her list and needs some help, here are some suggestions.
I did mine all on my own without yours.
Then
I did look, and I was like, why does he have all these like bonus people? But I do have bonus people, because some people I switched. I was like, wait, I want to take someone out of my bonus alternate lineup and put them in. So we have that one coming up next week. And then we have the mini commission about the rivalry between Alabama and Georgia, but deep dive. So we're going to talk about the husband, even though they weren't married till like 2018, who got in a fist fight and was married to one of the head coaches. We're going to talk about the threats of lawsuits. We're going to talk about what an LSU family member told me about the Georgia and Alabama rivalry. So we're going to deep dive for you guys. That will be next week. And thank you so much to our Club Gym Nerd members who help support us, especially to these 2 who did the mini commissions. If you want a mini commission, you can get one by joining Club Gym Nerd at the world champion level. And You can even gift a membership, you guys. Yes, that's right. You can gift it. And we're going to finish today's episode with a special interview that we did as part of the benefactor relationship with Gymnastics Medicine. They sponsored our coverage of Worlds in Jakarta, and we talked about a lot of dumpster fire news today. So I want to give you guys this interview so you can hear a little bit of hope and things going in the right direction. You can check out Gymnastics Medicine if you want to work with them. So here's that interview.
My name is Dr. Ellie Hart.
And my name is Dr. Ezra Green.
Yeah, so both of us were former gymnasts in college, and both of us unfortunately had a ton of injuries. And though we each received amazing care from our medical providers, we felt like we were always missing this gymnastics-specific component. So I myself actually started a practice at Boston Children's Hospital called Gymnastics Medicine. And with that practice, I started noticing that we were missing educational information, we were missing research, and I said, well, how can I help this? What can I do that's differently? And so there was the idea of gymnastics medicine, education, and research.
So I really love that a lot of the medical providers are very attentive. They kind of give the gymnast a second to kind of, reorient themselves, and then they're, approaching the podium. I think some things that I notice in all medicine as we are covering major events is we really do need to have like an established emergency action plan. So, based from a minor injury all the way through, we are unconscious and need to call EMS and get a board up there and C-spine him and get him on a gurney and head him out. So that's kind of what I'm noticing is those kind of in between, from the minor tweaks to the like, okay, they're unconscious. Those ones that we're seeing a lot of, ACL tears, Achilles ruptures, ankle sprains, those kind of things, kind of like, what do we do? Where do we go? Some of the providers, will head right up there. Other ones are not even allowed to approach the athlete or even speak to them. So their care is getting delayed. And so that's kind of what I've noticed here. And I think that's something as a medical community we could definitely improve on, just really establishing that emergency action plan.
Yeah, so I would say one of the biggest misconceptions about gymnastics and gymnastics injuries is that pain is normal. I think we can all agree, not only as medical providers, former gymnasts, coaches, just really individuals and humans, that pain is not normal in a sport. Gymnastics should be fun and exciting, and you should enjoy what you're doing when you're out there, and you really shouldn't be in pain. So I think that's our biggest myth buster, is that gymnastics having pain is normal. Now, we can always talk about soreness and muscle growth, but that's very different than pain. And so I think if there was a message we could shout out from the rooftop, it would be definitely that pain is not normal. The other thing too, and what we're really proud of for gymnastics medicine, education, and research, is we are a multidisciplinary team. So meaning that we help the athletes not only from the physical standpoint, but we have mental health providers on our team, sports nutritionists on our team. Dr. Green is an awesome PT on our team. And so what's really great is understanding that gymnasts need a collaborative and multidisciplinary approach, not just one provider, one person, but a team helping them succeed.
It is important to establish between pain versus soreness. And I think that is very hard for a child to really comprehend and be able to kind of verbalize, especially to a medical provider. So I always say if it's lasting longer than 3 to 5 days, and you're looking at 2 weeks here, it's probably time to see a medical provider, because that's usually when that DOMS or that delayed onset muscle soreness has ended, and now we've entered into an injury phase, and it's time to see a medical provider. I think communication is also huge. So it's not something where we're all talking at the athlete. I think it's something where, yes, we communicate to the athlete, the parent, and then as medical providers, we need to communicate with each other and kind of close that loop so everyone's on the same page so we can provide the best care for our athletes.
Tons of areas of research needs to be done in gymnastics. Our whole name is Gymnastics Medicine, Education, and Research. So we see that there is a huge need for that. I think something that's maybe a little controversial, we're having a lot of research on Achilles tears. But actually, if you look at the true research and the injuries that are happening, it's actually ankle sprains are number one, followed by knee internal derangement, such as an ACL tear or meniscus tear. So I actually think we need to do more research on the most common, right? How do you help the most people with the most common injuries? Now, the other really cool thing that gymnastics medicine is doing, and Ezra is leading this up for us, is our Gymnastics Medicine medical provider certification that then allows us to come together as a multidisciplinary team and actually make what we call consensus statements. So as Dr. Green was just explaining, our best practice guidelines, how to approach a gymnast, how to approach an injury, and how to really safely return back to the sport as a whole.
And that is part of the Gymnastics Medicine certification. We are reaching out to all providers that are licensed. They complete what we call the perfect 10 steps. They will go through an interview process, and then at the end of that, they will receive their certification to really just create these medical providers that are either seeing a lot of gymnasts or maybe are interested in treating gymnasts, to see what are those common injuries, how are we treating them, how can we come out with these consensus statements as a whole compass medical provider to say this is the best treatment for these common gymnastics injuries moving forward. So we're all kind of on the same page. We have tons of research on, Tommy John's shoulder injuries for baseball players, ACL ruptures in soccer players in return to sport. But our gymnastics injuries, we are sorely lacking in our research.
Gymnastics medicine, education, and research is not only just for medical providers, but also for gymnast parents and coaches. So we really wanted to make sure that we're putting out what's called evidence-based medicine. So what's on our website has been proven, has been shown, what is sort of what we call true medicine that we're doing there. It's not a sort of thought process of someone else. We really research the information, we put the most up-to-date information on our website. So if there are any gymnasts who are having injuries or parents who want to learn about more injuries, it's a great website to head to at gymnasticsmedicine.org. We also host virtual grand rounds and what we call Chalk Talk events, where we feature just a topic that our group, again, as a multidisciplinary team, comes together and provides that education and that resource. Because truly, I wish that we had this when we were both gymnasts. I think we would have had a lot less injuries, maybe even a longer career. And so we're just so thankful now that we can provide this to those young athletes, and hopefully they have a happy, healthier gymnastics career.
We get a lot of questions on how do I find a certified, medical provider, somebody who understands gymnastics near me. So on the website that Ellie was talking about, gymnasticsmedicine.org, we have a certified provider link there, and you can search by your state, you can search by your country, because we had out-of-country medical providers as well, and that's how you can find a gymnastics-specific medical provider near you.
Thanks so much to Gymnastics Medicine for the work that they are doing, and thank you for supporting us. Remember that you can give Club Gym Nerd as a gift at any level. Just check the gift box at gymcastic.com. And remember, you can also sponsor a membership for a member of the community if you want to, and we will match it. You can email editor@gymcastic.com if you want to do that. Check out our store because we've got all the merch, and there's only one full commission episode left before we close the door on the year, because we can only do so many of these every year. Because you see what happens is we get all passionate talking about college rules, and then we don't have enough time to do our mini commissions that we fully researched and had ready. So we're going to do them next week. But a whole commission, we only have one left. So you can get that at gymcastic.com under the Join the Club tab. And also, there's only one left, and you can give it as a gift. And until we're going to see you on Friday for Behind the Scenes, and then we're going to see you Sunday for the live show at 3 p.m. Pacific. And so get your virtual tickets, and remember to email us, gymcastic@gmail.com, if you want to participate virtually in some of the games. So we will see you for Behind the Scenes, noon Pacific, 8 GMT, and then Sunday the 14th for our live show. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, until then, too, take up a gay, split on rights, and we'll see you on Friday. Thanks for listening.